Fans that
This is the Todd Glaser Show on the Blue Golds Sports Network. The Todd Glaser Show is broadcasted from Grizzlies Wood-Fired Steaks. Grizzlies is your post-game destination to celebrate the big win. Featuring award-winning wood-fired rotisserie chicken, wood-fired steaks, and a great craft beer lineup. Come on out to Grizzlies, experience it all, the host site of the Todd Glaser Show. Alongside Todd Glaser, the coach of the UW-Eau Blue Golds football team, the voice of the Blue Golds and the Blue Golds Sports Network, Mike Sullivan.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Grizzlies, home of the best darn wood-fired chicken in the organized universe, and hopefully a lot of the people here are partaking because we're taping the show on a weeknight and looking ahead to this weekend when we head to Stevens Point. Coach Todd Glaser is with us, and we'll talk a little bit about this weekend's game. We'll talk about some other things that are affecting college football around the country these days, but let's start with practice this week and looking ahead to Stevens Point. How are things going?
Well, practice, after a game like Saturday is always a tough thing. I think coaches, players, hard to get up, but the kids came out on Tuesday. Monday we watched the tape, and Tuesday we came out and Tuesday morning came out and practiced hard, and today was even better. So we're hoping for a better practice tomorrow.
Right. Last time I'll talk about last week, I promise. But what did you learn from watching the film that maybe you didn't know live?
I should have listened to my mom and became an accountant. What you learn is you do. You got to just come out and prepare. And there was a lot of mental mistakes, and that's what you just can't have in football if you expect to win. And that's what we have to eliminate from playing.
For the record, I think Michelle would have made a better accountant, probably.
I doubt that.
Todd Glaser, the Stevens Point Pointers coming off a win, a tough win. They got a couple of interceptions to seal the deal over at River Falls. River Falls, from what I understand, playing with a lot of emotion. Their new field, first time on it, and played about as well as they can. How do you read that one? Have you had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, we have. Coach Ebner, who coached here and played here, is their defense coordinator, him and Chris Olson, who played here. He's their defensive back coach. So they did a great job on defense. They're running around, and they kept them in the game. And points good though. They're going to try to hit you with some long balls on defense. Defensively, they got a defensive end that's probably the best we've seen so far, and they're real physical in their defensive backfield.
So they try to stretch you vertically at least at times.
Yeah, they will all the time. They're going for the deep ball, and they got a couple of nice running backs. They each like 3 running backs, a couple scat backs, and a kid that will lower his head.
How's their O-line? And they have a reputation for being huge but slow.
That's changed. Their center is like 250 pounds now, and their tackles are 270. So they've changed. They've kind of changed what they've been doing offensively now that Mish is gone, and so they're going to be really good. They're athletic.
That brings up a point with the changes that there are in this league. We saw Emmendorfer, who's been around forever, but there's always seems a change in the D coordinator or the O coordinator or the head coach in the league. How do you read? Obviously you rely on tape, but how do you read the changes in a team in time to prepare for them?
Well, it changes when you have new coaches, every week's a new wrinkle. You can watch tape, but the team that you're watching doesn't run what we run offensively. So, you're trying to get the best habit. The nice thing about River Falls is Ebner played for us. He's running what we used to run, and so you kind of know, but he always puts his own little wrinkles into it. It's a thing where you kind of guess a little bit of what you're going to see.
How much of a part do computers play in preparing for a game these days?
Too much. I'm a typewriter guy, dang near. So it's a thing that all of our tapes on Huddle. We use Huddle. It's all computerized. Our kids can look at their game tape on their phone. It's just different. I know Link would have had a hard time with all this.
And Huddle can break it down, and you can edit, just the third and long plays together, for example. Or
yeah, we've always had that capabilities, but it's all in one program now, and we can do that, and our kids get that program, and so there's everything's at your fingers like anything else.
Speaking of preparing, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about college football today and some of the things that have changed just in the last few years. Not just Oregon, but a lot of teams have gone to the hurry up. No huddle, get as many plays in. Some of the advantages are obvious, but how do you look at it, and why has Eau Claire gone to it?
Well, we've been trying to get to it. What it does is that you can't personnel teams in, and we want to be hurry up, and so they can't. What happens is that the coordinator's not going to be able to blitz or bring a lot of heat. He's not going to be able to see what personnel, and we want to try to get a mismatch. But that can work two ways too. Saturday didn't work very well for us. So we were 3 and outs, and all of a sudden there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. When I played with Jim Lynn, he was the same way. And I always said as a defensive player, I never wanted to do that, but it is a way that you can get mismatches.
One question about personnel, Todd, and we'll move on to the next segment. But you lose Joel Sweeney to graduation, and then I don't want to dwell on it, but Larson and Nice and some other guys banged up. I mean, it's been tough finding a consistent running attack.
Yeah, we're down. We're down to about our 5th string tailback right now, and we've moved some guys around that we moved the defensive back to tailback. So we'll see, but we want those guys to step up. This is their opportunity, and no excuses. Everybody has injuries, and we just have to learn from ours and get better. And some of the kids that are playing, we got some true freshmen playing on the field right now, and they got to step up and learn quick.
Scheme-wise, keys against Stevens Point?
Well, I think it's anything else. They're living on turnovers right now. I think River Falls had 5 turnovers. North Central had 4. We can't turn the ball over. We got to get first downs and worry about ourselves and just go out and play our type of football. We can play good football, but we just have to do it on a consistent basis.
All right. Tell us about Ben Halder, who we're going to have on the next segment. You've known this guy for a little while, right?
Yeah, he and I met. He coached for us down in Marietta, and he was a friend with Kurt Weezy, who was the head coach at UMD, and he said he was our offense coordinator at the time. He said he'd be a good O-line coach, and came down and probably, the smartest thing he did is he fell in love with my wife's sister and married her, and that's. But he's a great O-line coach. Does a really good job with their special teams. He's a good recruiter, and we're lucky to have him.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute. We'll talk with Ben Halder, who is the O-line coach and special teams coach, when we return to the Todd Glaser Show right after this.
Grizzlies is proud to support Blue Gold's football. Join them for great post-game specials after home games and the coaches show before every away game. Grizzlies features award-winning wood-fired rotisserie chicken, wood-fired steaks, and a great craft beer lineup. Enjoy a Northwoods atmosphere with a friendly staff and great food. Don't want a long wait? Try their call-ahead seating. Call them at 715-832-6481 and let them know you're on the way. Grizzlies, next to the Oakwood Mall, proud supporter of Blue Gold's football.
The Blue Gold Sports Network brings you the pride and passion of UW-Eau Claire athletics, serving the community, the university, and its student athletes. At BlueGolds.com, you'll find information on game day activities and every sport at UW-Eau Claire. You can also follow UW-Eau Claire sporting events on Twitter at UWEC Blue Golds. Plus, interact with the Director of Athletics for UW-Eau Claire, Dan Schumacher, on Twitter at Dan Schumacher AD. The Blue Gold Sports Network is a property of UW-Eau Claire in partnership with Clear Channel Media and Entertainment of Eau Claire.
Blue Gold Athletics has made some big changes and is stepping into a new era of collegiate competition. Hello, my name is Joe Munger, a lifelong Eau Claire resident, the president of the Blue Gold Booster Club, and a UW-Eau Claire alum. The Blue Gold Booster Club's mission is to provide additional resources for our teams to compete for national championships at NC2A Division III level while representing our great city and region. Go to BlueGolds.com to learn how to become a Blue Gold Booster Club member, view game and event schedules, or make a contribution. Thank you, and go Blue Gold!
Business experts, right from the start. That's Whipfleet. The members of your Whipfleet team understand your overall financial health is measured by more than the bottom line. They represent a broad range of business discipline. They can address your critical business issues with a depth of experience that generates powerful, sustainable solutions you need to be competitive. They're also committed to help you get closer to customers, leverage technology, effectively manage operations, and strengthen your position in the marketplace. Not to mention achieve results. Whipfleet, with 3 offices in the Chippewa Valley, Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, and Menominee.
Welcome back to Grizzlies. Hey, we'd like to thank Jacob Schlube, Mr. McHugh, and all the people out here who treat us so well, and the fans who show up for the Todd Glaser Show week in and week out. We appreciate your being here. I see some familiar faces who've been here, in the past weeks, and a couple of new faces as well. And we always appreciate your back in the Blue Golds. It's what it's all about. And Ben Halder is with us. He's been a Blue Gold for quite a while now too. And as Todd Glaser mentioned, one of the smartest things he ever did was marry Michelle's sister, right?
That's a fact.
The connection between you and Todd goes back to Marietta, right? When you were both there. How did you guys first connect?
Like he said before, a college roommate of mine, Kurt Weezy, who was Todd's offensive coordinator, called me up one time out of the blue. I was in California looking for college jobs, and said, hey, we might have something for you out in Ohio. And I said, just let me know, because I'll move when you need me to. And about 2 weeks later, I was packing up everything I owned and heading to live in a dorm room in Marietta, Ohio.
Now, there was quite an Eau Claire connection when you were there, right? There were a lot of former Blue Golds, I think.
I think I was the only one that wasn't a former Blue Gold, to be honest with you. Every single one of them.
And you're from the upper Midwest originally, right?
Yep.
Went to Mankato. I think, you're still in the top 10 in all-time tackles for loss for the Mavericks?
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I haven't checked, I guess. It's possible.
How did you wind up out in California? And tell us about the experience out there.
I graduated college, and like all recent college graduates, I needed a job. And that's where it was. I was teaching elementary school and coaching high school football out there. And it was a blast. It was living in Palm Springs, California as a 23-year-old single guy. It was a good time.
So Yucca Valley is part of Palm Springs,
yeah,
right?
It's probably 25 miles north of Palm Springs in the high desert, yeah.
How's the high school? I mean, we know how it is, but how is the high school football?
It's good high school football, obviously. A lot of talent, a lot of kids running around. I guess the biggest difference is like high school football, there's year-round. There's no... Kids don't play football and basketball and track and hockey or any of those other things. They kind of just play one thing.
Well, in fact, everything is year-round there. Whatever you play year-round, right?
Pretty well, yeah. Soccer is actually a wintertime sport there. So you get a kicker occasionally to play football, which is always a good thing, obviously.
Now, you were an assistant coach for a while and then a head coach at high school, right?
Yep. For 2 years, I was for 2 years I was assistant, a couple years as a head coach there, and then got the opportunity to I loved football, loved teaching, but I found myself more attracted to football, so I wanted to do right by the kids that I was teaching and not shortchange them, and I wanted to get into college coaching, and an opportunity came up with Todd, and I jumped at the chance.
And for the fans who don't realize, Ben Halder is a tremendous assistant coach. He's had some great players. We talk about Joel Sweeney and the headlines he got, but you had an All-American in his own right, Paul Santi, leading your offensive line the last couple of years. He was tremendous.
Yeah, Paul's a really good football player, and he's sorely missed, and the guys that have stepped in for the guys that graduated have done a great job, and they're getting better every week and every practice, and I think they're just looking forward to Saturday.
How do you teach? We'll talk footwork and other things in a minute, but how do you teach the cohesion that an offensive line has to have?
Those I don't know that I've ever really taught that. I mean, we try to get together and have dinner once in a while, those types of things, but the kids that I've coached and the kids that are here now, they kind of take it upon themselves to do that for themselves, and they do. They're great offense. If you guys have never met an offensive lineman, they're the biggest, gentlest teddy bears off the field that you'll be able to find. They're great teammates. They love each other. They love everybody. So they kind of take care of it themselves, to be honest with you. There's not a whole lot of coaching going on with that in that regard.
But they can eat, right?
Well, they can eat a lot. And as a matter of fact, I think they ate 3 or 4 pans of lasagna, 2 pans of brownies, and like 3 loaves of French bread at my house last Friday.
Now, we've been doing some investigative reporting the last few weeks on the O-line, and I've sort of come to the conclusion that Nate Coltis is the champion eater. Am I right on that?
They can all get after it pretty good, but Nate probably is king of the hill in that regard.
All right, Ben Halder is with us. We're at Grizzlies, and if you have not been to Grizzlies, boy, come on out. Not just for the Todd Glaser show, although we love having you here during that time as well, but come on out for the food, for the beverage, for the great servers. It is a tremendous place to be, and we appreciate their backing. Ben, you also coach special teams. That's a unique, it's an old saw, I know, but 1/3 of the game is special teams. It's just as important as offense or defense. How do you approach those responsibilities?
It's kind of, offensive. On the offensive line, that's not. There's only a couple different ways to coach kids there. Special teams is kind of an opportunity to get creative and be creative and do some things like that, and the kids can have some fun with it. But we approach it just like we do on offense or defense. Spend a lot of time with it, teaching technique, scheme, individual footwork, things like that, just like we do with the offensive line or defensive line. But we approach it just the same as we do everywhere. Coach Glaser is great about making sure that the kids understand that it's a very important part of the game, and if you need a break, you can get it on offense or defense, but we're going to play our best kids on special teams. So.
And like the offense, for example, people notice the quarterback or the wide receiver or the running back, maybe don't notice the O-line. With special teams, they notice the return guys. What they don't always see is the coverage team and the tackles. And I think especially this year, one thing I've been impressed with is your coverage on kickoffs. They've done a really good job.
Yeah, our kids have really bought into what we're doing, and it changed, a couple years ago, and they only let you take such a big approach to the actual takeoff of kickoff. So it's schemed with safeties and wide receivers and running backs, kids that can really run, and it's become a speed team for us, and those kids have done a great job, and they'll continue to do a great job with it. We're really excited about that unit. It's been really good. We've got a freshman kicker who's done a pretty good job, and yeah.
And the Eau Claire Blue Golds are the only team in the WIAC to successfully execute an onside kick. Tell us about that.
That was those onside kicks are tricky, and the kid that actually recovered it for us was all the way on the other sideline. So it kind of took a funny hop, bounced off the kid's chest. You got to get some breaks. We got a good break there, and Marco came flying from the other sideline. I think he had any business being on it, but it bounced around enough. And, that's the type of effort we have on special teams, and we need to continue to have. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's interesting.
It has been fun, and there's more good days ahead. Ben Halder, thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Yep, thanks a lot, Sully.
Ben Halder. We'll be back on the Todd Glaser Show right after this.
Grizzlies is proud to support Blue Gold's football. Join them for great post-game specials after home games and the coaches show before every away game. Grizzlies features award-winning wood-fired rotisserie chicken, wood-fired steaks, and a great craft beer lineup. Enjoy a Northwoods atmosphere with a friendly staff and great food. Don't want a long wait? Try their call-ahead seating. Call them at 715-832-6481 and let them know you're on the way. Grizzlies, next to the Oakwood Mall, proud supporter of Blue Gold's football.
In Wisconsin, there's one public university with a national reputation for providing a high-quality education and an affordable price.
A university where students learn one-on-one with great faculty in the classroom and receive hands-on experience through research and internships.
A place for students who are dreamers and doers.
And a university where students graduate with the lowest student debt and great-paying jobs.
Think you know where?
The University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire.
Discover your power of and at uwec.edu.
Hey folks, it's the Gordy's Guru here. Gordy's County Market is a proud supporter of UW-Eau Claire Blue Gold football. With every smash of the pads and every touchdown pass caught, we know that success takes determination, hard work, and lots of time. That's why we want to take this moment and say, go get them, Blue Golds. Stay healthy, stay true, and have a great season. This message brought to you by your friends at Gordy's County Market with 3 convenient grocery and gas locations in Eau Claire. Gordy's County Market, pleased to back Blue Gold athletes, coaches, and teams.
Sports fans know about tradition and pride, and here in western Wisconsin, the Leader Telegram has a proud tradition of valuing local sports coverage. Their dedicated sports staff knows what fans want. The Leader Telegram sports section, in print and online, provides the most comprehensive coverage of local high school and college sports anywhere. Find the scores, the stats, and the stories you need, all in western Wisconsin's leading paper, the Leader Telegram. This Saturday, it's Blue Gold football action at Stevens Point. Hey, it's Mike Sullivan. Join us on the Blue Gold Sports Network. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock, pregame at 12:45 for the Blue Golds and the Pointers in WIAC football action.
Welcome back to the Todd Glaser Show here at Grizzlies in Eau Claire. We appreciate their support and all the other people that make our broadcast possible on the Blue Gold Sports Network. A special thanks to Dan Schumacher, the athletic director, who's helped to put everything together. And we're looking ahead today. We're looking ahead to Stevens Point and to Whitewater and to the rest of the WIAC wars and looking for progress. I know you've told me every year I've worked with you, Todd, that goal one, whether you're 4-0 or 0-4, is to improve each day in practice and improve each game.
Well, it's true, and I think one of the things
I'll drop one off.
I've been around Blue Gold football for a long time. I've been on both the teams that went to the playoffs. The first team was 5-2, and it was a 3-way tie or a 4-way tie for first place. We went in a couple years back. We had 2 losses in conference, so I think you just got to take one game at a time. And I know people, it was a tough loss on Saturday, but we have to look ahead and get ready for Stevens Point.
And we talked a little bit about what's coming up Saturday, but look ahead and handicap the WIAC for us. I mean, yeah, it's Whitewater and everybody else, but how do the rest of the teams look to you?
Well, it's hard to tell. Everyone, this team beat this team by this amount, or this team. You can't tell. It's all matchups, and it's injuries. There's a lot of things that go into that, and we just want to worry about ourselves. And when we get in on Saturday, is execute. I think that's a big thing for us. Is execute at a high level, and we'll be all right.
I've got a dumb question for you. I know I come up with several every week, but fields around the WIAC have evolved over the last several years from grass to an inferior kind of turf to better turf to turf that's worn. I mean, how much do they vary between venues?
They vary a lot. I mean, if you look at our turf compared to like River Falls, who's brand new, they just played their first game on it. It's going to be like night and day difference. So it changes all that. Kids got to get used to it. I think one of the biggest things that used to be back in the day is Whitewater used to have a crown that you could stand on one side and you couldn't see across to the other. Now the crowns are gone. So it's always evolving that way, and your kids just have to adjust and come out and play.
All right. The other thing we want to talk a little bit about is the field and the surroundings. And it is what it is right now at Carson Park, and we're doing some things there. But what's your dream field? If you could design a football field and price was no object, what would you want? From a player standpoint, from an experience standpoint?
Well, it'd be nice to have something that we can go indoors. I think Carson Park is a great field for the community. Me, I'm selfish. I'd like my own field, my own dome, and not have anybody else play in it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I said a dream field, so go nuts.
Dream field, then we'd have our own dome, our offices in there, our weight room in there, and all those type of things. That's not my job or our coach's job. That's somebody else's job, and we're just looking to get better. I appreciate our kids getting up in the morning and going and driving to Carson and carpooling and getting up. And before today was a great day because we got to see the red moon that a lot of people were sleeping at, and so it's a unique place. Carson's always a fun environment.
Can we have a state-of-the-art press box, too, with all the bells and whistles?
Sure. Anything for you, Sully. You got a lazy boy, you want one.
All right. Well, hey, it's been for you, the fans, that we bring you Blue Gold football on the Blue Gold Sports Network, and that we bring you the Todd Glaser Show. This one's going by fast, but thank you, Coach, and good luck to you Saturday.
Thanks a lot.
Todd Glaser, the head coach of the Eau Claire Blue Golds. They'll play Stevens Point. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff, 12:45 pregame Saturday on the Blue Gold Sports Network. For Todd Glaser and for Ben Halder, Mike Sullivan, thank you for joining us from Grizzlies.
This is the Todd Glaser Show on the Blue Golds Sports Network. The Todd Glaser Show is broadcasted from Grizzlies Wood-Fired Steaks. Grizzlies is your post-game destination to celebrate the big win. Featuring award-winning wood-fired rotisserie chicken, wood-fired steaks, and a great craft beer lineup. Come on out to Grizzlies, experience it all, the host site of the Todd Glaser Show. This has been a presentation of the Blue Gold Sports Network and Clear Channel Media and Entertainment of Eau Claire. For more information on the Blue Golds, go to bluegolds.com.